A lot of people don't know that side of you and how successful you own malls, businesses, and you and I had talked off air, how visionary you've been. That's probably shaped your whole entire career because you came to Hollywood with a business mind rather than coming from an artist perspective. Can you elaborate to that? Because a lot of people here are here for business.
Well, first of all, I was very fortunate that when I went to school in Austria, the trade school, I learned how to be a salesman. And so I learned the art of selling and promoting and marketing. And I never realized then how important those skills are in everything that we do in life. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, a painter that needs to market his paintings, or if you're an athlete and you have to invest money and look over your business manager because, you know, as you can see all the time, how athletes get screwed all the time by all of a sudden someone saying to them, well, we don't have any more money, you know, because the business manager ran off with the money. Entertainers that are broke and cannot even pay their taxes and so on. So we see that all the time. So I did not realize then how important it is to have a business mind and to be able to sell and to market and promote and publicize and all of those things. And those skills that I've learned then in school were important to me my whole life. And so I developed a certain skill and a nose for real estate, for instance. When I came to America, I looked around and I was training down in Venice. And Gold's Gym was in Venice. And as I was driving through Main Street, and I saw always, you know, the drunks and the homeless and the drug addicts lying around there on the street and so on. And I said to myself, you know, one day I see this street becoming a busy business street with restaurants and shops and all this. I see it differently 10, 20 years from now. And I started buying up buildings there. And sure enough, within a few years' time, the property went up double, triple, quadruple. And I started buildings that I bought with 3 houses in the back for $450,000. I would sell 3 years later for $2.3 million. Then there was another building down the street that I bought in for $1.5 million. We sold for $4.5 million 4 years later. So there was unbelievable investments and opportunities. But for me, what was important was that my overall plan to become a leading man was such that I knew that if you sell out and you take those parts as a bouncer or as a wrestler or a Nazi officer, you would never make it to the top. So therefore, I wanted to be financially independent and have enough money that I never have to accept those kind of parts. So I was able to hold out and slowly build my career because I had the financial security because of the real estate rather than from show business. Eventually, the show business took over, and you know, when you start making $20, $30 million a movie, no matter how well you invest on this side, I mean, this kind of money comes in such staggering amounts. So, but it was great then to have both.
There's some very good tax advantages of holding real estate
absolutely.
For over
and then I got involved in businesses like we started buying 747s for Singapore Air, and they then leased it back for them, for themselves, and we got all the tax write-offs on that. So, I mean, there was great, great deals that I started making, even though, again, they said it is impossible, you can't do that. He says the only financial institutions invest in those kind of airplanes, 747s for Singapore Air, they don't take private investors. And I had the team flying from Singapore, and because I was a celebrity, they were willing to do that, right? So they met in my office. I told them why I'm interested in this business, that I'm seriously wanting to invest in that, and that I'm a serious player, not just some crazy actor. And after our conversations, they all agreed unanimously to let me invest in their planes, and I went in and had this great investments that really ended up being an absolute jewel from a tax write-off point of view and also from an investment point of view.
So you used the business, the real estate, the other business, to gain that financial security so that you can pursue a dream of acting without worrying if you're going to work at Starbucks.
That's right. Yeah, because you never know exactly where it's going to take you. But I was very fortunate that I started making money on all of those different areas. And I have to say that I really never lost any money on